What's up, everyone? This is Jarvis here live at the Accelerated Growth Club. Today, we had Chad Durfee talk to us about how to break through your fears. There's so much internal bondages we have, so much internal blockage that keeps us from pursuing our wildest dreams, that holds us back from going after the things that's most important to us. How do you first identify what those internal bondages are, but more importantly, how do you break through them? Today, Chad Durfee brought to us a powerful message of how to break through these fears so that you can pursue your wildest dreams. Here at the Accelerated Growth Club, signing out. Stay tuned, we got a powerful message for you. I want to hand the mic over to Chad.
Thank you, Jarvis. All right, guys. So first of all, I want to start out thanking Jarvis for creating this community. Everybody should understand that this isn't in every city, right? There's not a container like this everywhere where people can come together, like-minded, entrepreneurial, self-development-minded people to rub shoulders and really create friends in the way that you can do in this container. So Jarvis, thank you for creating this space and allowing me to speak here. And I want to thank you guys for being here tonight and being committed to yourselves. How many of you saw the title of tonight's workshop before you came? Okay, how many of you were excited about the workshop before you came? Okay, perfect. So that's a good sign. That's not a bad thing. And then before we start, I do want to take a second. If there are any veterans or active military in here right now, could you please stand up? Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, I couldn't start without acknowledging you guys for everything that you do, so thank you. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about breaking through fear. And one of the first steps in breaking through fear is actually creating an awareness of what you're afraid of, right? And what you should be afraid of and what you maybe shouldn't be afraid of. So tonight's objectives, actually, you know what, before we start the objectives, just by a raise of hands, I want to get a few volunteers to let me know what you were hoping to get out of tonight when you saw the title. So raise your hand, please. If you saw the title, you were excited about tonight. I saw those hands that said you were excited. Some people, just somebody volunteer and tell me what you are hoping to get out of tonight. And the reason I'm asking this is because I'm hoping to be able to give that to you. Yeah, Lou.
Maybe get out of my head. Sometimes when I'm thinking about what it is that I want to do, but I'm so stuck in my thoughts and everything that I don't end up taking that leap because of that fear.
Yeah.
So getting out of that mind frame and just going for it, basically.
Okay, perfect. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like, how do you get into that mind frame? Because I want people, because people are going to be able to relate to this. So by the way, guys, we're going to create a safe space tonight, so everything that's going to be shared, you've got to be able to get vulnerable and open up a little bit, and I'll get vulnerable with you tonight too, to be able to break through a lot of these things. So tell me a little bit more about that, Lou.
So it's basically something that I learned from Mel Robbins about the 5-second rule, that oftentimes when you don't act on impulse, I'm not saying just act on any irrational thing that comes up to your head. You know when it's rational, you know when it feels right, but when you sit on that idea, you don't launch, because your doubts start to come in, you hear your family members, you hear everything that has normally held you back, and you start to doubt yourself. So that's what I mean by getting out of your head and basically just going for it, trusting yourself, and seeing what you get from it.
Terrific.
Maybe you make a mistake or two, but at the end of the day, you'll still learn something from it.
Okay, terrific. So what I'm hearing you say is that there are things you want to do, and when that negativity comes in and you start creating those stories about all the things that might happen, all the negative possibilities and whatnot, it can keep you from doing what you know you should do. Is that correct?
And it has.
And it has. Can you raise your hand if you can relate to that? Anybody? Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. So we will get into that. We're going to talk about story creating tonight, and Mel Robbins actually has a place tonight as well. So thank you for getting ahead. Who else has something they want to get tonight? Yeah, Jacqueline?
I think about myself that I've always tried to grow, and I have grown in many different areas in my life.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel like it's taking a little too long.
Okay.
So I was attracted to the accelerated part of the topic today.
Okay, as
so
far
I
as...
speed up my process of growing.
Okay, perfect. So you want to speed it up. You're getting there, you're on the way, but it's not going fast enough.
Yes.
Okay, who else feels that way? I know I do, like every day. Okay, terrific. Thank you.
My name is Brittany.
Can you take notes on these?
I'm huge
possible?
into personal development and do these type of seminars often. So I'll go home super lit up, excited, ready to take on the world. When you wake up the next morning, you're like, ugh, I gotta start building myself up again. So like meditation, exercise. So I guess for me, I wanna, if there's any type of secret sauce that you have, that, is gonna just, keep that momentum, once we leave here. Thank you.
Okay, so secret sauce for momentum. How many people are like that? I know that I'm like that a lot, where I'll listen to a lot of TED Talks, I'll listen to motivational stuff online, and then the next morning I forget that I even listened to it. How many people are there? Okay, so just to play off that a little bit, I want everybody to understand that this is a life practice. Okay, and so the secret sauce is what we call fundamentals, and they're not things that everybody wants to hear. Everybody wants something big and earth-shattering, the fix-it-all. But really, it's little things, right? It's the small hinge that swings the big door. And we'll talk about some of those secret sauce fundamentals today as well. So perfect. Thank you. A couple more.
I can talk with this. So actually, yeah. First of all, my biggest fear is public speaking. So so I'm just afraid of microphones. So I just want to understand if I have to fight with my fears, or if I have just to accept my nature and just say to myself, it's not for you. You shouldn't just speak publicly, and that's it, how it is. And I'm very interested in how people are dealing with this. Do they fight it, or do they accept it?
Okay, so they do both, but one's more effective. There's a lot of things. So, and I acknowledge you for standing up and speaking in front of everybody, being afraid of public speaking, because this is. Thank you. But it's true, because a lot of times I'll ask people who has a fear of public speaking, and nobody will raise their hands, and they just prove my point that everybody has a fear, because if you raise your hand, there's a chance you might have to talk in public. So, thank you for doing that. One more thing. Yep.
Hello everyone, it's Asia Minkowska, and first of all, thank you so much for bringing up the topic of fears, and I'm excited to hear about your blueprint about the fears. And the thing is that I don't care how brave we are, how strong we are, every day we are going through challenges, and the challenge will trigger the fear, some sort of fear inside of us that's still there. They never go away. Right? So I'm really excited today to learn about ways how to deal with this in daily basis, but also about maybe a blueprint that we all can use for the new fear. Maybe we will develop something new, because there is always new challenges that are coming.
Yeah, will an equation work for you as opposed to a blueprint?
No.
Okay, we'll call the equation a blueprint.
Fantastic.
The fearless equation. Thank you. Okay. So why don't we go through tonight's objectives, and guys, this is something that I do. I work with entrepreneurs and people that are very high producing to help them get to the next level and really get that extra edge, and it's a 3-month program. So tonight we're really just going to be scratching the surface, but the first objective, if you want to hit that for me, is to create some awareness. Okay, we all have fears that we're probably aware of. You might not want to admit it. Tonight you get to do a little bit of that. Okay. And then there are also fears that we face in our lives that we have no awareness of, right? They're subconscious. And that's where it really starts to get a little bit dangerous. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Next one. Okay, over tens of thousands of years, let me preface it with the fact that humans are really, really good at survival. Okay, and over the tens of thousands of years, our minds have built constructs to help us survive, right? There are certain mechanisms that our brains have with regard to things that scare us, that in the past, when you were running from saber-toothed tigers and trying to ward off starvation, were really wonderful, and in today's day and age are really stunting the human race's growth as a whole, as far as progress. Okay, so we're going to talk about some ways to move powerfully toward your dreams and goals in spite of some of the natural things that are happening. Okay, and the last one is we're going to be giving 5 powerful techniques to eliminating fear. So this is where we'll get into a little bit, we'll get into the blueprint before this, but we're going to get into how to get out of your head. Okay, we're going to get into all of these things that you guys talked about tonight, so I'm really grateful that you guys spoke up and said what you wanted out of this, because you're going to get pretty much what you asked for. All right, so let's start out with some ground rules. So I know we're all adults in here, and I don't do this all the time, but I think it's really important tonight. So far, you guys have done amazing, but I want you to be present. How many people have a fantasy football team in here? Okay, there's a few. All right, you might feel the overwhelming urge to pull out your cell phone and check the score. Please refrain from doing that if you can. Communication is great, and speed of communication is great, but it also will distract our attention and also the people around us. So try and be respectful of those around you. Confidentiality is a big one for me in these workshops. One of the biggest ways to really get clear on the fears that you face is to own up to those fears. It's to tell somebody else about those fears and how those fears are impacting your life, okay? And in order to do that, we have to create a safe space in this room. So anything that is shared with you in this room by somebody, are you in agreement, just raise of hands, to keep that confidential, to respect somebody's confidentiality? Everybody? If I don't see a hand, you kick it out. All right, thank you. Okay, next, participation. Obviously, you guys are all here for self-development. I don't have to say this, but what you put in is what you get out. And then finally, unless you have to take notes to process things, I want you to really just be present here. Okay, pay attention to the feelings, to the things that are said. Take notes if you want to or you need to, but if you want my slides and all the notes afterwards, I'll give you an opportunity to give me your contact information and I'll send you everything so you have it, right? Which will probably be better notes than what you're taking tonight. All right, so let's set the time machine. You guys ready to take a trip? Yeah. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about me and what allows me to speak about this particular topic. Okay, besides my education, my experience, my best friend who's a clinical psychiatrist and really well known who's helped me develop all of this, but I want to talk about my life experience. So let's set the time for May 21st, 1998. Set the location for Springfield, Oregon, Thurston High School, where I was a 15-year-old freshman, getting ready for summer to start, talking with my buddies in the cafeteria about all of the wonderful things we were excited to do, the sports we were going to be playing, the girls we were going to ask out, just all the good stuff. When all of a sudden, shots rang out, okay, and a lot. And people started running and screaming, and one of my best friends across the table from me, who was 16, Tony Case, was shot 3 times in the stomach, once in the back, and I got to see all of this around me as a 15-year-old. Okay, in an instant, that innocence and that excitement that I had was wiped clean, and all that was there was this overwhelming urge to escape, to run, to get out, to do anything I could to not be in that location. My dad was a teacher at the school, as you can probably see from the news article. He was in that cafeteria as well. This was the first huge school shooting prior to Columbine. Multiple people that I knew were killed. A lot of people that I knew were really hurt. And I was lucky enough, and my dad was lucky enough to get out of that alive. But that was something that I experienced in my life that gave me a really clear perspective on fear in the sense of life or death. Just a fundamental, basic human fear, okay? Fast forward almost 20 years, 19 and a half years to October 1st, 2017 at the Route 91 concert where I once again found myself with my buddies in Las Vegas. And when those shots rang out, I immediately knew what that was because I had felt it before and I'd been there before. And the exact same fear that was there 19 years prior was there again, and we were gone. I mean, that overwhelming urge, like we couldn't even think. It was immediate response, okay? So, there are different types of fears that we face in our lives. And although that fear has impacted me, every single room I go in, every single crowd I'm in, regardless, I know where the exits are, I know where the most likely entrance for something to happen is at. Like within the first 15 seconds of anything that I'm in, any networking event, wherever it's at, I've already assessed that and have prepared myself for it because I've been through it, right? So it's impacted me. But that fear hasn't impacted me nearly as much as some of the underlying fears that we're going to talk about tonight, what I call silent killers, okay? So Let's do a little activity, actually. In a second, I'm going to ask you guys to call out fears. I see you've already written them on the board here. You can say flying or rats if you want. I got black licorice once. That was a fun one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Just randomly call out fears, anything that you can think of. And I'm going to write it down. Okay, it's starting already. Not good enough. Keep going. Failure. Oops, let's do success. Failure. You guys are already ahead. Rejection. Pain. Did I hear judgment? Uncertainty. Keep going. What was that? Pain. Price. Keep going. What? Unknown. Thank you. Change. Death. Abandonment. I heard not taken seriously. What else? Keep going. Falling. That's valid. I mean, really, anything you guys say tonight is valid. So there's not a wrong answer here. Snakes. Okay, let's go for about 10 seconds more. Keep going. 10 seconds more. What? Getting old? Getting old? I'm getting gray hair. I can understand that.
Loud noises.
Okay. Vulnerable. Ability. Okay, I think that's good. We could probably do this activity for another hour and fill out like 6 more of those, or 17. But let's examine these a little bit. You know what's funny is I didn't hear one that always goes up there and was already mentioned was public speaking. That's weird. So let's talk about these for a second. Let's talk about somebody that has a fear of, let's go with rejection. What might be a scenario where you get rejected? Okay, asking someone on a date. Kyle, I invited my friend Kyle here. I'm going to put him on the spot. I told him we were going to break through that fear. I told him we were going to. So when you see a really beautiful girl across the way and you want to talk to her, but you don't, what are some of the physical things that happen to you? What do you feel? Like what happens to your body?
I'm Kyle. I get the feeling I'm getting right now. I get adrenaline.
Okay, yeah.
I get nervous probably. And I start to think like, if I'm with my boys, like some of them are bigger, some of them are stronger, I'm like, is she more interested in them or is she more interested in me? All those things go through my head at the same time. And then I usually, I start to wonder if there's things that I should be doing, like is there a proper process that I've read in a book, or should I just be myself? It's like all these, like 1,000 things go through my head, whether or not I'm going to fuck it up, really.
Yeah, so you're going back to what Lou said. Get it in your head.
100%, yeah.
Okay,
100%.
perfect. Thank you. Who else has a similar fear? What other feelings come up in that moment? Lou.
Hands get sweaty.
Sweaty.
Yes.
What else?
Start to,
Let's talk about physiological. Let's go on that train. Hands get sweaty. What else happens to you physically? What was that? Trembling? Heart rate goes up. Kate, if I told you right now that I'm done public speaking now, you get to come up and finish the presentation. Just use my notes. What happens?
I can tell you what. Usually my brain just stops working.
Yeah, you pause.
I'm focusing on my fear, not on like my words.
Yeah, you freeze.
So I'm sure that people won't like it.
Okay, absolutely. So, no, but you're right. So those are all the things that are happening. Shortness of breath, these physiological responses. So why is it that when I was in the school shooting, or somebody is in a spot that's a life or death situation, they experience the same physiological responses as somebody who's getting ready to ask a cute girl out in the bar, or potentially speak in public, or do anything that's not a fear of life or death?
Because it's the same emotion, and our body is recognizing it as the same fear of death and safety.
Perfect.
Danger. Basically, fear is a response to danger.
Yeah, it is. Let's go to the next slide. we're going to talk about the brain's fear center, the amygdala. Here's the science part. All right, so our brain has a part of it that's like the archaic part of our brain that's been around for a long, long time and has developed over tens of thousands of years. And the amygdala processes every single piece of data that comes to us or is around us, whether it's sounds, feelings, words, activities. It's processing those rapidly, and it's flagging what it thinks could potentially be dangerous for us. Okay? But the amygdala does not decipher between something that will kill us and something that just makes us really uncomfortable. Okay, and those are the fears that I came here to talk about tonight. That's where I said the fear that I experienced in that school shooting and other instances throughout my life were not nearly as impactful as the other fears, the fears of discomfort that we experience. Okay, some of the fears that you guys all raised your hand and mentioned you wanted to figure out how to get around. Okay, so I want to circle a couple of these right now because there are, well, actually, you know what? Can you go to the next slide? Okay, I want to decipher a natural fear versus a root fear. Okay, so there's only two fears that psychologists say we're born with. Does anybody have any idea what those two fears might be? Loud noises. You got one. Yes.
Heights.
What was it?
Heights.
Heights, almost. Falling. Heights, I mean, heights is a cousin or probably a sister, right? I heard these. Loud noises. And a couple people knew where we were going with this. Those are natural fears, okay? You're born with those, or they're developed at a very short pace after you're born. Every other fear that we experience in our life is a learned fear, okay? They're cultural, they're societal, they're familial, they're deeply individual and personal. Okay, so here's my equation, by the way, for fear. All fear is, right, and this is Lao Tzu. Anybody know this quote? It's very true. We create our fears, okay? All fear is an experience we've had or something that is an experience that we're expecting to have. We've attached a negative story to that, as Lou was talking about, and then emotions follow. Do you think those emotions are going to be positive or negative when you're attaching a negative story? Typically very negative, okay? And emotion is energy in motion. So we have complete control over our fears. Okay, and 4 of these fears up here are like killer fears. Okay, not physical, but they're dream killers. They're the things that keep you from achieving your goals, from the life that you want, from getting there faster. Okay, the things that keep us procrastinating. And there's 4 of them. Why don't we start with success? Is one, or in other words, change, right? Success/change. Judgment. You guys called all these out. /ridicule. Okay. Oh, you had change here already. Failure or loss, right? Because failure usually equals some sort of loss. And then, let's see, I think somebody mentioned it. Well, let's go with abandonment, rejection, or abandonment. Okay, so right now, I've got a gift for you guys. If you would look under your seats, I pasted a gift there for you. So everybody get that little note card out from under your seats. 3rd grade, here we go.
Who got the car?
Woo! That's my gift. That's my gift to you. All right. So some of you might be looking at that fear and thinking, oh my God, this is perfect for me. I can see this everywhere in my life. Others of you, maybe not so much. You might be having a hard time seeing where this is at. Okay? So, anybody who has a card with the number 1 on it, please stand up. All right, somebody read that card. Judgment. Or in other words, ridicule. Okay, thank you. Sit down. 2, stand up. Read it. Rejection. All right, that's a fun one. Or abandonment. 3. Failure. Okay. 4. Success.
I really don't understand that one. Why would you be afraid of success?
That is the question. That's a much more difficult one to get to the bottom of. But it's a very important one because a lot of you in here.
Who in here has that? Who is afraid of success? I don't really want to talk to you guys. Like what? Can someone explain that? Can one of you guys explain it for me?
I don't know how it's gonna feel. It's unknown.
It's an unknown.
It's an unknown.
All right, we got one in the back.
It means you have to fill bigger shoes.
Bigger shoes, bigger expectations. I saw one more out here.
Personally, for me, it's just because I'm so used to losing and like failure throughout my life that change of success I don't know how I would adapt to that.
Good one. Good one.
Okay, change. We got one more.
There's responsibility that comes with success.
Okay. So bigger shoes, bigger responsibility, change, and unknown. Okay.
I'll tell you another one. One of mine. Time. If I'm successful, I might lose time. Time with my children. Time with my friends.
Okay.
Right?
Interesting.
Doing the things I really enjoy, like watching football games.
Yeah.
Am I going to have time?
But you can be successful in family environments with your family. I mean, successful family.
Yeah. So you say you're afraid of a successful family?
No. That's more financial, but I'm talking about here.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, success is subjective.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it could be anything. It could be familial. Yeah. It could be with regard to work. Right. But it's the fear of change, at its basest. Okay. And that's the same for rejection. It's the fear of loss. Same for, fear of rejection is abandonment. Fear of failure is a fear of loss. Right? So that really gets down to its most foundational level, and it could be in anything. It's not necessarily just business. Right? In the group that we're in here right now, we're talking a little bit about business and things like that because we're in that. But this is anything. This is in life. Okay? This is with your spouse. This is with your children. This is with your parents. This is with everything. Okay? And we'll get to the bottom of this. So these fears, we're going to do an activity here in just a second. And this is important, and I'll get to that question here in a little bit because we'll talk about that a little bit deeper. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Okay, good. So let me explain what one of these fears looks like. When I was in 6th grade, I was a mischievous kid. I was probably not the favorite of the teacher. I thought I was cool. I thought I was like, all that. And I was in my 6th grade teacher's math class, Mr. Barber, and he was going through one of those activities where he's putting equations on the board and he's calling on students randomly to answer and solve the equation. And the equation that he was putting on the board, I didn't know the answer to, and so I was talking with my buddy asking if he knew the answer. Mr. Barber called on me because he heard me talking, and I proceeded to brush it off like, hey, I don't know the answer to that. You're the teacher, teach us, right? And then he proceeded to take the next 5 minutes and make an example out of me. Okay, and Mr. Barber was not trying to hurt me personally, right? But that 5 minutes was probably some of the most uncomfortable 5 minutes of my life. Right? I wanted to crawl under a rock. I wanted to hide. I had never felt so worthless. My friends were in the class. The cute girl that I liked was in the class, and they were all smiling and chuckling. Right? So that day I made a conscious decision not to raise my hand in Mr. Barber's class again because I didn't ever want to get put in that situation, right? But I made a subconscious decision, not realizing it, not to raise my hand in any classes, okay? Because I didn't want to get put in that position. And every time there was an opportunity that arose for me to potentially get ridiculed or made fun of, those sweaty palms, that shortness of breath, that came back, and I just wanted to escape. I stayed away from it. So I didn't speak out in my classes. I got behind in math. By the time I was a junior in high school, my little freshman sister, Lindsay, was like way ahead of me in math. And my parents thought that was great. And that affected me throughout my entire life up until recently. I wanted to start businesses. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had things I wanted to create. And I built them, and I thought of them, and I planned them out. And every time I was on the precipice of carrying that out, I backed off. And I justified by saying, you know what, I'm just really not that interested in that anymore. I'm going to go this direction. right? But what was it really? It was if I put myself out there to start a business and it failed, my friends might make fun of me. I might get ridiculed. I'm putting myself out there. And that flight response that I felt back in that school shooting, that was there with every single opportunity I had to create a business until recently. And I had no idea that that was affecting me. I had no idea that that was even there. It was completely subconscious. And it was killing my dreams. I was running without even knowing that I was running. Okay, so every one of you in this room has a dream. Whether you're super clear on it or not is okay. But in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to take this card that you have, and on the back, you're going to see a line. Above the line, I'm going to ask you to take the next 2 or 3 minutes when I say go, and I want you to write what your dream or vision is, what you want to create in this life. Okay, while you're finishing, I'm going to read the instructions for the next step for those of you that have finished. On the side of the card where it says the root fear, whether that's rejection, failure, success, etc., right above that root fear, I want you to write where in your life you can see that particular fear obstructing you from achieving the vision that you just wrote, or at least slowing your progress toward it. Okay, so for example, if it's a business once again, okay, and you're trying to create something huge and you need investors and you have a fear of rejection, right? Maybe you're not making the calls that you need to be making every single day to be able to go out and find those investors, or you're procrastinating those calls, okay? Or if it's a relationship goal, maybe your fear of rejection is keeping you from going out and talking to the person that you want to talk to, right? And having the courage to do that. Okay, so right above that fear, I just want you to take a couple minutes right now, think about where that particular fear is getting in the way of that vision that you want to create. And for those of you that have a card that you really can't see that particular fear in your life, right? You're having a really difficult time, that's okay. If after a minute you're still having a difficult time with that, pick one of the other three and then write that. Right? If you've got success and you're like, no, I'm really successful and I love success, but you have like a horrible fear of abandonment and rejection, then you can maneuver to that. Okay, so let's take another 2 minutes and get that written down. And if you have a question about what I'm asking, raise your hand. I'll come around and talk to you and answer that. Okay, guys, we're running low on time, so I want to get this portion of the activity taken care of. So in a moment, but not right now, I'm going to ask you to partner up with somebody. Okay, and this is the vulnerability part of the workshop that I was telling you about, because a lot of people don't want to, number one, admit that they have any fear, and number two, tell anybody else about what their fear are, because they're pretty personal, right? However, there's an organization called Alcoholics Anonymous, which has been around for a long time, and it's very successful. And what's one of the first things you say? Hi, I'm Chad, and I'm an alcoholic. Right? So I'm stating who I am, I'm identifying with that, and then I'm explaining how that's affecting me. This is exactly what we're doing here, okay? So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to partner with somebody that you don't know, and you're going to choose who's going to be partner A and who's going to be partner B. I know this is uncomfortable for you, but this is where you get to lean into it a little bit, okay? When you get with that partner, and when I say go, you're then going to take your card, and let's see, whatever card that is, let's say rejection. Hi, my name is Chad, and then you're going to read to that person what your vision is, okay, what you're wanting to create, and then you're going to say, I have a fear of, whether that's rejection, whatever you want, whatever that fear is, and you're going to explain to that person how that fear is impeding you from creating that vision, or from doing it at a faster pace. Does that make sense? I see some faces like this is uncomfortable. That's good. Okay, so can we raise our hands? Can we find partners in 15 seconds or less? Because I want to get to the good stuff. Okay, go. All right, you guys are like killed that activity. Thank you so much. That was insane participation. Okay, so real quick, while I'm wrapping this section up, because I want to get to the good stuff, which is the actual tools, okay, and how to start moving through this stuff that we're talking about. Did anybody discover a fear that they have that they didn't realize they had prior to this? Just raise your hand. Okay, a few of you. How many of you got clearer on a fear that you already knew you had, but you see how it's affecting you in maybe a more profound way? Okay, perfect. So guys, this is the first step. Like I said before, we're just scratching the surface here, but awareness of what is impeding your progress is the very first step toward breaking through these fears. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to go through this one really, really fast. This is the first mechanism that your brain has that keeps you from achieving your goals and dreams is fear. It's the amygdala. We're talking about fear. The second mechanism is what's called automatic negative thoughts. Okay? So the average human being has over 60,000 thoughts a day. And most of them are negative. Okay? So there's a lot of people that beat themselves up over this, and they go into self-beat up a lot. Okay, and this is where limiting beliefs come from. So we have two things going on. We have fears and we have limiting beliefs. Okay, and both of those things magnify the other. All right, so I'm just going to go through. There are 9 specific types of automatic negative thoughts that psychologists have found. And we're just going to go through them really quickly. I just want you to take a mental check. A lot of you probably have had one of these thoughts in this workshop. Okay, most likely before and definitely already this week, which is, we're only in Monday. So don't beat yourself up because this is normal. And the other thing to realize, of those 60,000 negative thoughts we're having, and most of them being predominantly negative, they're typically the same negative thoughts. So they become habitual. So the same negative thoughts that you had last week or yesterday are the same ones that you're going to have today or tomorrow. Okay, we're not even thinking about it. And this mechanism was developed because it was really useful for early human beings to be able to foresee a situation and consider the possible negative outcomes of that situation so as not to die, right? But now what happens is it stops our progress. We get in our heads. And these are the types of things when Lou was talking about the negative stories that started getting created, this is where they stem from. So the very first one is black and white thinking. So if you start telling yourselves the terms always, never, every time, right? Those are dead giveaways that your mind is in a negative thought, okay? This always happens to me. This never works, right? Every time I get in the same situation, every time I date the same wrong guy, whatever that is, okay? Next. Focusing on only the negative. How many people have come home from a day of work and just been like, today sucked? It was like the worst day. Fucking hated today, right? But guess what? You're alive and you're going home. You're not in a body bag. Did the day really suck? Okay? But as human beings, we really like to focus on just the negative things, right? Because they stand out for us. Our brains are built to make the negative things stand out more than the positive things. Okay, there's a great TEDx talk about this. They've put like brain wave monitors on people, and it actually takes more effort, more electrons firing in the human brain to think positively about a situation than to think negatively about a situation. So it takes physical work to be an optimist. So don't beat yourself up about that. Next, telling the future. How many people have ever heard somebody say something like, this is never going to work? I'm never going to get that job. That chick's never going to say yes to me. Okay? We can't tell the future. Our brain likes to think that we can. Next. Mind reading. Okay, this is a good one. This guy over here hasn't smiled the entire presentation. I'm just kidding. You've been smiling the whole time, right? But just assuming he hadn't smiled the whole time, I could very easily be thinking like, this guy hates me. My presentation sucks. I'm probably boring. There's other people out there not smiling right now. How many people have been talking with somebody and like their expression, you're trying to read their thoughts, right? And it's a negative thing. Salespeople do this, right? We get really excited about our ability to read body language and understand what a client is potentially thinking, right? But you go too far when you start to try and read their mind because that's not always what's happening. Maybe he just has to go to the bathroom really bad and he can't concentrate enough to like really think. Like there's so many little things that could be happening. Next. Thinking with your feelings. Okay, that's another one. It's a little bit deeper, but a lot of times you don't feel like doing something, right? And so you think I'm not going to do that. I just feel like that's not the right thing to do. Or I feel like I feel like that person hates me. Okay, so next. Guilty feelings. I'm not going to go into this one. That's a little bit deeper subject. Labeling. This is when we label ourselves. So like maybe I asked a crappy, not a crappy question, maybe I asked a question that I didn't think was a good question. I could be like, I'm so stupid. I always ask these stupid questions, right? Or I'm late to a meeting and I'm like, I'm always late, right? I'm labeling myself that. Okay, next. Taking things personally. The guy flipped me off on the highway and I think he hates me, right? Not necessarily. Maybe he just, like his girlfriend just dumped him. Like who knows what's happening, so don't do that. And then next. This is one that we love to do. We love to be victims, right? We love to, like, woe is me. that my boss is such a dick. He hates me, or he fired me, without actually taking ownership for what maybe really happened. Okay, and even if he is a dick, and you were unjustly fired, guess what? Like you could still take ownership and take control in that situation. So these automatic negative thoughts, raise your hand if you've had any of these in the last, let's say, 48 hours. 24? Last 15 minutes? Good. Put those hands down. All right. 10 minutes. Okay. Let's move on to some of the things that we can do to break through these fears and negative thoughts. Okay? So there's a lot of different tactics. We're not going to go through all of these tonight. This is more for the 3-month stuff that I do. But you can look at it at a macro level, as in like monthly and quarterly. Okay, so vision, fear setting, objectivity testing. And then you can look at micro, so daily practices. The fundamentals that we talked about, the little hinge that swings the big gate. Things that we do on the daily that become habitual, that is a lifelong practice, that make us more and more and more effective at overcoming these fears that we have and the limiting beliefs. So let's start with the first one. Let's move on to the next slide. Vision. So I'm going to start with vision because this is the most important. Okay? Just real quick, throw out a couple of names of people who you think are visionaries throughout history. Elon Musk, Oprah, Steve Jobs, Abe Lincoln, Thomas Edison. Okay, we can keep going. Great. Guess what? Every one of you is a visionary too. I can prove it. Close your eyes. Close them. Take 15 seconds right now and just think about the car that you drove here in, or the bus, or the Uber, or the scooter. Okay? How many of you, just raise your hand, keep your eyes closed, how many of you can picture it? Okay, how many of you pictured it before you could, okay, you can open your eyes now. How many of you had a picture in your mind of what your car looked like before you had, like, the smell of your car in mind? Right? Most of us, right? We create pictures. Our brains are image makers. They create images, okay? That's what a visionary is. They have an image of something they're trying to create before it comes to be, okay? So the next one, there's a syndrome called monster under the bed syndrome. Most little kids have this, right? They hear a sound, something scratches the window, they see like a branch move outside the window. They don't have the comprehension yet to understand what's going on, and they immediately create a picture in their mind of a monster that's under the bed or in the closet. Okay, and then they have a fear. They've pictured something so clearly, and they've created this little story and attached like really negative emotion to it, and now they've got this fear of monsters. Okay, but the opposite is true as well. What I call the Schwarzenegger effect. How many people know Arnold Schwarzenegger's story? Okay, poor kid in Austria, wanted to be Mr. Universe. Like that was a pipe dream, okay? But he saw it so clearly in his mind every single day. Every single curl that he took, he was the guy that was smiling in the gym while he was going through pain, because guess what? He understood every single curl was getting him one step closer to that image in his mind of where he wanted to be, okay? So this is the equation that I was talking about with regard to fear. All fear is an experience that we've had or expect to have, a negative story that we've attached to it, and negative emotion. The opposite is true. Vision, can you switch to the next one please real quick? Vision is an expected experience, a positive story that we're attaching to it, and positive emotion. Okay, that's the only difference. And remember, emotion is energy in motion. So you guys are in control of the story that you create about every experience that happens to you in your life. Okay, if your dad left your family when you were 12 years old and abandoned you and you never saw him again, you could very easily create the story that my dad didn't love me, I'm unworthy, I'm not lovable, and you begin to develop a fear of abandonment and rejection. Or the same kid in the same experience, or a different kid in the same experience, might create the story, my dad's a dick, he's a jerk, the next guy who comes into our life is going to be lucky to know my mom and I. We're so much fun. We're the best players at Monopoly, right? Which kid is going to have more of a complex with regard to abandonment and rejection? Okay, first one. Same thing, public speaking. Before this event, I could have very easily been like, okay, these people might not like what I have to say. They might make fun of me. I might do a really crappy job, right? Or the expected experience is, I'm going to provide some value. The people are going to leave that room tonight with some new thing that they can take into their life and apply right away that will help, it'll benefit them, right? That helps me dissipate my fear of this event. Okay, so vision is the number one thing you can do to get through fear. And then we'll just run through the next, how much? 5 minutes, okay. Gratitude. Raise your hand if you have any gratitude practices. Most of you, okay, good. So you see the importance of gratitude and humility. I heard humility early on when you were talking about the experience. Okay, so there are tons of gratitude practices. Most of them are in the morning or at night, right? Gratitude journaling, things of prayer, things of meditation, things of that nature. I know for me, when I'm in the middle of the day and I'm in the shit and like stuff is happening that's not so good, I forget all about my gratitude journaling from that morning, right? I need something to carry me through the day that I can do in a habitual way. And that's where this stuff comes in. So appreciation. Get in a practice of appreciating everything, the little things. When I drive to work, I'm appreciative for my car. I'm appreciative for my health, for the vision that I have, for what I'm creating, for the good that I can do in other people's lives, right? For the person whose day I'm going to make better, for the opportunity to make somebody's day better, okay? If we get in the practice of that small thing, fear starts to dissipate on all these little things. Acknowledgement, acknowledge everyone. Acknowledge things people do for you, the waitress for bringing you the meal, whatever it is, right? If you can acknowledge somebody for doing something, not only does it make them feel better, but it helps you focus out and you're not so much focused inside, which is when you start to get really fearful, is when you're only focusing on yourself, okay? And then attention, this is, just give attention to people. Yes? Yeah, thank you. Yes. All right, actionable step. Perfect. Okay, next, we're getting close to the end here. The power of I am. I gave you these bracelets on your seats here, okay? They say I am. The whole point of these bracelets is when you start to recognize those automatic negative thoughts, those ants coming in, it's a physical inhibitor. You can snap it, stop that thought in its tracks, and replace it with a positive thought, okay? The first week, if you really do this, your wrist is going to be sore because you're going to realize how many negative thoughts you have on the daily, okay? But this is huge, okay? If I'm worried about my business failing and not being smart enough, the second I start creating that story in my mind and it starts going there, snap, screw it, I'm not going there. I'm powerful, I'm savvy, and I'm smart enough to find somebody who can help me with the answers, okay? So that's what the bracelet's for. It's a habit. We have those automatic negative thoughts are habits. They're habitual, right? You can't change the trigger. You can't change the reward, but you can change the routine. So replace the automatic negative thought with a positive, energetic thought. I am. Next. Next slide real quick so we can finish. Thank you. 5-second rule. You got it, Mel Robbins. Okay. We like to procrastinate what we're afraid of or what gives us discomfort, okay? So the 5-second rule provides us the opportunity to very quickly make a decision and not give ourselves time to create a story and have all these negative thoughts come in that talk us out of doing that thing that we wanted to do, okay? Perfect example, an alarm clock. I know that I got to get up tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. because in order to have the time to create what I'm creating, I got to wake up at that time. When the alarm clock goes off the next morning, maybe I'm not so much wanting to get up. Like maybe I want that extra hour of sleep, right? So 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm up. I don't even have time to think about it or process it. Okay, so this rule works really well for predominantly premeditated decisions that you've already made. Okay, make the sales call, talk to the girl in the bar. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm going. Before you even have time to stop, okay, or think about what am I going to say? Is there a blueprint? Is there a script? Etc. Last one, focusing out. Okay, the Maslow theory, the hierarchy of needs. Okay, the top one is transcendence. The highest form of motivation is thinking outside yourself. If you're creating a business, get the why for your business and make sure that in that why you're affecting many other people, not just yourself. This isn't just to make me a millionaire. This is to change lives. And when your why transcends yourself, the fear goes away. You have a greater cause. Okay? So it actually releases oxytocin, which is a really great hormone to release. Okay? And oxytocin is the opposite of the stress hormone, cortisol. The more oxytocin you have in your system, the less cortisol you have, the more philanthropic stuff you do, the more charities you provide, the more good you do for people, the more people you acknowledge, the happier and just less fearful you are. Okay? So that's it, guys. I'm going to end with this thought. The difference between an unhappy, fearful person and a happy, successful person is that the successful, happy person understands that they are in control of creating the stories in their life. Every experience they have, they are in control of either choosing a negative story or a positive story. Okay, if I'm afraid of failure, well, guess what? It's going to happen. Okay, so rather than be afraid of all the things that are going to come from failing, I'm going to think that's just one step closer to success. Okay, I'm going to wear that failure as a badge of honor because I know every time I fail, I'm closer to my dreams. I'm creating a different story. Okay, you guys are in charge of that, and I think that's my time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chad. Hey, let's get 2 questions. Let's first of all thank Chad. Chad, that's awesome. Let's get, yeah, thank you for that. Two questions from the audience. 2 questions. Q&A while we have Chad's attention. Anyone have any questions? Anyone want to relate their story to one of these fears and kind of get a perspective from him on how to get over it? Nate.
What are some of the biggest breakthroughs that you've made within the last 6 months? And especially since you've created this program, obviously you've had a lot of time to reflect and course correct and do a lot of that. So could you please shed some light on what your personal experiences have been and how you've overcome some of the fears that have come up recently?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, I've started a couple new businesses in the last 6 months, right? Things that I hadn't done in the last 30 years. And it all came from giving myself the space to admit that I had fears, get to the bottom of where they were at, and then really figure out the best steps to moving through those. And for me, it also created a really powerful why. Like once I understood that having a why bigger than myself was important and really helped me break through fear, like this type of thing, my why is so much greater than the fear of public speaking that I don't even think about the fear anymore. Okay, I get a couple butterflies, a little anxiety, but guess what? All of you guys wrote visions on these cards. If everybody's vision that you wrote tonight came true, this world would be such an immensely better place for my children, right? So for me to let fear stop me from coming here and doing some good for you, right? That it doesn't even compute anymore because my why is so much greater. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you. High five.
Yeah.
Awesome. One more. Let's get the hand up in the back here.
What is your why and how'd you get to it? Sorry if that's a little redundant.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So my why is to have a much safer, just safer and happier world for my children, right? The 2 most precious possessions that I have. And the best way that I know how to do that is to find people like you, groups like you guys that are so committed to yourselves and personal development and really creating a better world and supporting you and making your visions happen, right? Because I can create my own vision and that's one vision, but if I can help 60 visions or be some sort of help in that, then that's my why, right? It's for a better world for my kids, honestly. I know it sounds like cliche, but it's true.
That's awesome. With that, we're going to have to...
How'd you get to it? How'd you get to the why?
Yeah, honestly, it was getting really clear on what scared me. It really was. Like, I've been pretty selfish a lot of my life. And so learning some of these tactics, like once I came across Maslow's theory and I came across a lot of the science behind what happened, and as I started to put it in practice, it got very clear over this last year, really. So yeah, good question.
So
Thank you.
With that, let's give Chad a round of applause there. That was awesome. Thank you. So those cards you have, there's going to be a board on the outside as you're leaving. Should be a little piece of tape on the back of it. You can stick your vision onto that board, and then that's going to give us a great clear picture of everyone's vision, and that's an example of what Chad is talking about. If everyone in here, if every one of your vision came to fruition, how much better would this world be? And how dare you let a little fear of speaking, a little fear of putting yourself out there, a little fear of ridicule, how dare you let that get in the way of making this world a place that it can be? So when you put your vision up there, that's going to be an indication of if everyone in here had the ability to get over those little ants that we have, you have the power to make this place better. So put your visions on the board so we can get a clear picture of how much better this place is going to be when we leave it. With that being said, we're going to close out a couple housekeeping items. We have our next event is going to be in 2 weeks. We actually have the guest speaker. Asha. So this is going to be actual continuation of this. Today we're talking about fears. A big part of fear is transition and change. Asha has an incredible testimony of change, coming from a different country, not knowing the language, and being able to prosper through change. So how to take transformation and change it into triumph. So we're going to have that in 2 weeks. You go to the next one. We had a couple of different ways you could plug in. Does anyone have a fitness goal in here? Is anyone trying to lose a little bit? Am I the only one? I'm the only fluffy one in here? All right. I know we got some fluffies up in here. We got Wake Up Wednesdays. Every Wednesday at 5:30 a.m., come down to the convention center. Crystal's there, Charity's there. Who else comes to Wake Up Wednesdays? Do we have anyone? Nadia? No, you haven't been. Sorry. But every Wednesday at 5:30 a.m., you can go down the list. We're at the convention center. If you want to come get a good workout, we have a personal trainer, Josh the trainer, comes and works us out. It's a great way to get your day started. You can just go through all of them. We have a WhatsApp group if you're looking for daily motivation. It's just a great way to get plugged into the community. We do, Robert, one of the members here, puts out these wonderful affirmations every morning. That's just a great way to bless your heart and get your day started. We've got the Facebook group to get plugged in. And you can go ahead to the next one. Shout out to Chad for today. That was awesome. This was just a small piece of what he does. He's got a really extended program where this just scratches the surface. He actually dives deep in and really surfaces some of your personal fears and helps people get over them. There's going to be a survey on the tables outside. If you want to know more about that, and just give feedback. This is an evolving process. Fill out that survey and put your information in the chat. We'll kind of send you some more information on his 3-month program of how to break through your fears. Continuing with the shout outs, I got to give it up to the volunteers. So this doesn't happen just by accident. A lot of work goes into putting on these events. Shout out to the welcoming committee, Lou and Robert, who signed you guys in. We can always use an extended help. We want to grow this community. We want to build a website and continue to get visibility into what we're doing. We're trying to change lives and make the world a better place here. So we have, if you're a digital designer, if you're a web developer, if you know anybody, we're looking for people that can help out and volunteer. We're doing this for free out of the pure passion of our hearts. And so if anyone else want to help out in this effort, please join in. Shout out to the camera crew. You'll probably get tagged in a picture on Facebook. Blame Eric. It's his, he's the photographer here. He does weddings and real estate, headshots, whatever you need. Eric is an awesome person at Wild Glass Photography. Go to the next one. The beautiful Crystal. Give a shout out for Crystal. Crystal's with 33 Social Media, specializes in making you look good on live video, increasing your exposure and visibility through social media marketing. She is awesome at what she does. If you can't tell by her presence, she teaches other people how to have that same presence and how to put yourself out there to grow your business on social media. So Crystal with 33 Social Marketing, I couldn't do this without her. And I'm sorry, I had to throw this up there. The ugly. Let's give it up for the morning hero here. So they call me the morning hero. I'm crazy. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I post all kind of wild stuff on Instagram and social media. If you want to see me doing burpees at 4 in the morning, you can follow me at the morning hero. On Instagram. I put all my, whatever I'm doing at 4 in the morning. If you're looking for encouragement, if you want to feel bad because you're still laying in bed, you can watch me on my social media and it'll help motivate you. But one of the biggest things we talked about today is breaking through your fears. One of the easiest tricks you can do, one of the golden nuggets that you are looking for, how do you do it? The easiest is through accountability. You have to find your accountability. We did a session on willpower doesn't work. When you just try to will your goals to happen, you will fail every time. The easiest thing you can do is put yourself in a position where you're accountable to someone or something that will force you to be successful. The easiest thing you can do is find a group, find some sort of system, find some sort of accountability. I've created something called, I didn't create that. We got, so that wasn't me. I don't know what, perfect timing. But I have a system called the GOAL program. GOAL stands for Goal Oriented Accountability League. It's a group of people, we get together every single day on a daily call to talk about our goals, what's the most important things we're working on that day to accomplish it. And for you to be successful, it's not something you review once a year, once a quarter. You have to embody it every single day. You need to be accountable every day. Crystal's a part of it. If you're interested in some sort of daily accountability to get you to where you're trying to go, if your goal is that important to you, where you want to be accountable, talk to me about the GOAL program and we'll join us. We get together on a call every morning. It's a group call and we talk about what's important to us and how we're going to get there that day. If you're not doing this on a daily basis, you're not serious about your goal. You need some sort of daily accountability that's going to force you to go and move forward towards your goal. So ask me about that if you want to join our call every day.
What time is the call?
We have several calls. It's 5 a.m. It's every 30 minutes. So it's a 5 a.m. call, it's a 5:30 call, it's a 6 a.m. call. So whatever one fits your boat. It is a morning call because it is your morning routine. It's very important to be up early in the morning, striving. You're not going to get to where you're trying to be waking up at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. We do this early and then we kickstart the day with momentum.
Is it dial-in or Zoom?
Zoom. It's a video call, so you got to be looking good.
Do you guys have a format that you use?
I do, and I'll walk you through it. So if you're interested, come talk to me. I can tell you what the format is, but it's very powerful. We do a meditation, we do affirmations on your goal, and then we structure out what your attack plan is that day, and we do it every single day. So with that being said, did anybody enjoy today? Who would like to share? Who would like to share what they got out of today? I need 3 people to share what they got out of today. Just 3 people. Tom, I know you got a lot, Tom. No? Yeah, Tom to get anything.
Hey guys, my name is Marco. So, I mean, one thing that I really got out of today is like understanding my fear. When I first walked in,
you could turn around.
When I first walked in, I wait a second.
Yeah, he's very like.
When I first walked in, I wrote something down, and it was dying. I was like, what am I afraid of? I put dying. And as I sat here, I kind of realized what my real fear is, and that is not being my best self every day. Because I know how it feels like to be my best self, and when I don't get that, that's my fear. And so just knowing that, I can kind of just go into my next days with that in my mind. What should I do to be my best self?
That's awesome. That's awesome, Marco. Marco, you need to give a testimony afterwards. We need to get that on camera.
For sure.
Did anyone else get something out of today? Did anyone learn anything? What is a key takeaway? How are you different walking out of here than you were before you walked in? I need at least 2 people that had epiphany moments. Where's the epiphany? We got an epiphany in the back.
That fears are self-made.
Uh-oh, you got to get on the microphone.
That fears are self-made. That you attach the negative story to it.
So go ahead, stand up. Enlighten us.
That fears are self-made, pretty much. You know, you think that the monster in the bed is real, but it's not, and that negative stories and emotions attached to it are actually what fear is. So it's an illusion.
It's illusion. I like that. Fear is an illusion that you made up. Charity.
Transcendence, that idea of having an impact on the community and on people, and having that be more important than your fear was huge for me. So, thanks.
I like that. Well, thank you guys for I hope this was a valuable piece of your time. With that being said, there's drinks outside, and if you really did enjoy. Oh yeah, so Lou's holding out surveys if you want to fill out a survey about what you thought of Chad's presentation. Raise your hand and he can put out a survey. And
everybody better fill out one of those surveys.
You got 2 seconds. We got one more comment over here.
Real quickly, thank you, Chad, very much. Absolutely awesome. I'm Tom Terrific. I used to be Spider-Man for Marvel Comics in New York City. And as a great launching point to this fabulous talk, I'm doing a villain crusher pitch boot camp. If you want to know how to pitch yourself to investors or clients, come see me. Thank you. And thank you very much for everything, Jarvis. Awesome night.
Yeah. So.
Who doesn't have one? Does one have one?
Who is that I just? Oh, have you given a testimony before? All right, I'm gonna grab you, and you're gonna give a testimony back there. No. Once we. And with that being said, I just want to thank you all for coming. The power is in the community. So the people in this room are all people that's of the same wavelength, of the same vibration. These are your kindred spirits and your kindred souls. I challenge you, don't just run up out of this room. Make a friend, exchange information, set up a coffee date. When you increase the acumen of the people that you surround yourself with, you will increase your output in life. Take this opportunity and embrace it and meet someone new. Build a relationship. I guarantee you'll be blessed by it. That's the whole point of this. Now let's get some music. And when you're done with them,
Hold on the table out there.
so there's going to be a table on the outside. As you're walking out, you can just put your surveys on the table outside.
Anybody not get one of these? Snap yourself all week.
And look, Marco, you can go back there to Eric.
Yeah, sure.
Well, quick question.
It goes with my pearls.
For those
At the table.
For those people that said that they really had a good time and enjoyed this, if we would love to get a quick testimony, like a 15 minutes on camera, just talking about your experience today. Please come. 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Come grab me, and then we'd love to get a quick testimony by you.
Exceptional.
Uh-oh. Thank you.
Where did that fall from?
I had it sitting right here, rolled off.
So I'd like to put my mother on the motivational little WhatsApp.
Oh, the WhatsApp? Yeah.
How do I?
Where's my phone? You'll have to put.
I'll give it. I can give you. God, how do you see that? It's so tiny.
Are you on there?
I'm on there.
Okay.
Like you can send it to me, and then I can like forward it.
I'm gonna.
Because I end up actually just like copying and pasting everything to her. She loves it. So
that's the perfect way to do it.
This makes it easier. I don't have to do that.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go in and actually just. What's your cell phone number?
949. No, you did 8. 280 6278.
Boom.
Okay, perfect.
You got it. I got it, Robert.
Good, man. I'll be back.
Oh man, I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'll be back.
Yeah, that's the.
After the holiday, I will.
We're doing this every 2 weeks.
And their weakest skills.
Every 2 weeks, we're here trying to make a difference.
Nah, you're doing it. I remember when you first started. I saw it on Facebook, so it was good, man.
We're growing it out. Hey, Rubina. Hey, Rubina, did you give a testimony?
Yes, I can give you one.
Walk over to the guy with the camera and tell him you want to give a testimony.
Where do we put the surveys?
Right here on this table. Lewis.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna take off. I gotta head back to.
Dude, man, I appreciate you making the effort, man. I hope you met some new people.
I met a few. Definitely did, and it's something good, man. This is what I need.
Yeah.
I definitely
Good to see you as well. Where's J Money at?
J Money, this is J Money.
Oh, you are. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm J Money, the original
Good.
J Money. I will see you at home.
She Midwest too. She's Detroit. Babe. Hey, babe. Jane. You leaving? Thanks, babe. Oh, what's up, man? I hope you guys.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
I hope you guys.
No, we loved it.
Yeah. What? I recruited. I was successful. Yes. I recruited some people. All right, I'm gonna send you a text like Tuesday night. I'm gonna remind you.
5:30 at the steps.
5:30 a.m. at the steps. We get started. All right. I'll see you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, Ricky.
I did, and I hope that I wake up early enough.
You guys should come to the stairs. Let's do it. 5:30.
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday, 5:30.
Can we meet halfway between here and Del Mar?
Oh, you guys live in Del Mar? Yeah. Jeez, you're too young for Del Mar.
We are the youngest people.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you guys on the Saturday ones then.
Thank you once again.
Oh, thank you guys for coming. You guys are awesome always. All right, see ya. Kyle. Yeah. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
Oh, he put you on the spot.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I knew he was coming too. He's my buddy. I knew he was coming.
Okay, so he prepped you prior to.
Yeah, well, I told him like I was concerned about asking a girl out or whatever. And he's like, oh, okay. We'll address that problem.
We're going to use you as an example. Oh man, what a friend, right?
Yeah, he's the man. I'm excited. We're about to go hit the hot tub after this and talk about it some more. So
there it is. Yeah, that's a great way to do it, man. Just decompress and give you some pickup pointers.
There's more than that too. That we're gonna dive in deep, I think. So
yeah,
it'll be a good conversation.
That's awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming, man. I hope
very much.
Come, don't let this be the last one.
How much is the club itself?
The university club is $169 a month to be a member of the university club. Yeah.
I like being around like-minded people.
If do they have the little cards for the university club? He was asking about like the membership for the university club. Normally they have the little cards.
Let me go see if they have it at the front. So that's what I want to ask. So what's your experience been with like the type of networking, like the type of caliber of people that are here, like
it's
the
great.
other events?
It's great. I mean, they have events just about every day of the week.
Okay.
Like some of them like art events, wine tastings and stuff like that. It's more established. So
Jarvis, sorry to interrupt. What did you get to do to someone else?
Mark, Rubina.
I got Mark. Rubina? Who's Rubina?
I used to do it.
She was an Indian girl. She was just, I don't know if she just ran past us.
Yeah,
she might have been. Wait, hold on 1 second. No, I think I saw her come out. Hold on, I'll go. It's her friend. Do you know what Rubina is? Because she was going to give a testimonial. I think she's coming. I'll tell her.
And who else?
Those are the only two so far. Go around and ask people.
Yeah, okay.
Or have Robert. Maybe you can ask Robert to ask people to give testimonials. So it's established. So it's like this. I would say is I cater to like a younger crowd.
It's my vibe though. Like this was my vibe, but I want to.
Yeah, so I'm bringing in like the hungry go-getters.
Yeah.
But it's great to tap into like an established network.
Caroline and Kale, they're both in membership and can tell you guys all about the club.
Thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Erica. Thank you. But so the membership is cheap for a private club. It's $160 a month, and you get access to all the events, free breakfast every day. So I come every day for breakfast.
I saw your post. I'm like, what is he doing up there every day? I'm like, but I wouldn't mind starting my day that way either.
Oh, it's great. And you meet great people, lawyers, city
people
officials.
they're talking to each other?
Yeah. You chum it up. You all sit at the table. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll see you in this week or the next
week. Yes. And people sit at a communal table, and you're sitting and you're meeting new people every day. So for a networking standpoint, it's been great. Like I'm here, like I said, I'm here every day. I get full use out of my membership, and for people that get use out of it,
Do you bring clients like for lunch?
that's why I'm here. I do meetings every morning. So I have every time I set up a meeting. I say, meet me at the University Club. No one ever turns me down.
I bet they know.
They're like, oh, yeah, I'll come meet you at the University Club. And it's a great way to impress people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what, back then I was like, ooh, lunch or dinners here would be good for clients. So.
Yeah. So.
And then what about them? Sorry, one more question. I don't know if you were asking something. The morning call, like the format, like who should I call?
So here, we'll get together and I can tell you all about it.
Okay.
Did
you get a new number? Actually, I got a new phone. How long is the call?
30 minutes.
How many people are usually in it?
5 per group. So I got you. I'm gonna just send you an invite for us to sit down and we'll have coffee. Yeah. So I just did it. So you have an email from me right now.
You got my email?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bmalkin@gmail.
B.A. Malkin.
Bamalkin. Bamalkin at Gmail.
And bitches. Okay, cool.
Would you by any chance be willing to do a
It's
just like one.
Boom, yeah.
I'm gonna go before she tries to get me to do a test.
Yeah. She will get you too. All right, Kyle. Thank you, buddy. Yeah.
Such an awesome one, dude.
Yeah. You liked it?
Yeah, I loved it, dude. I haven't gone home. I just got back from LA right now.
Wow.
And I just barely made it.
Just jumped on in. I was wondering where the girlfriend was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You guys up there doing more like influencer engagement?
Yeah, actually, did you see my stories? That was kind of...
No, I haven't been on social media all day today.
Kind of having a little fun. My friend just turned 20 and he went all out for his birthday. He got in the club, spent like $8,000.
On his 20th birthday?
20th birthday. Well, he's huge. He's on Facebook ads. He's made tons of money.
That's crazy.
But he invited me, and I had such a great weekend. I had a couple of meetings I went to before his birthday stuff. But yeah,
that's the way to do it. I mean, sometimes you gotta unwind.
Oh my god, dude! I don't go to the clubs. That's the first time I've ever been in a club.
Really?
First time I've ever been in a club, and I'm just like,
how old are you?
I'm 22. And like,
Wow, you got some making up to do.
I know, right? I blacked out, dude. I was gone. I could not handle my stuff, man.
You woke up next day like, I guess I had fun.
I was like, I got here. I'm fine. I'm safe. I was like, oh gosh, not doing that again.
Yeah.
But had to experience that to know that I'm never gonna do that again. So.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's it for real. It's you know, you got to add it to the storybook.
Yeah.
You could add it to the book of experiences.
Exactly. Are you gonna stay here? Or are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm
hungry.
gonna have a. I don't know if I thought my wife was over here, but it looks like she might have left. If she left, then I might have
tonight. I have 3 questions too. One is that group. Does it cost to be in that group?
Yeah, that's the accountability system.
How much?
$650 a month.
$650 a month.
So it's so the idea is that it's to help people ingrain it into as a habit.
Okay.
Once you have it as a habit, then you can kind of carry it on yourself. It takes about a month for something to become a habit. So essentially, it's a month of daily coaching calls. You get every single day. You get pushed, accountable. You get nudged. You get counsel on how to hit your goal every single day for a month.
I see value.
Yeah. So that's
highly valuable. I was going to tell you that I want to help you sell it. I want to put it apart as my program because I think that's very, like every single morning helping somebody with that. That's going to totally push them towards their goals, and that's really what I do. I help people get to their goals. I don't talk to them every day. The days that I talk to them once a month, and that one phone call, they're like, I'm paying you because of this one phone call. Like, Imagine you're able to hear me or hear motivation or hear like people helping you every single day. And accountability is 100% why people pay me. You're gonna do what I tell you. Like what we plan to do. Like,
and this it's exactly that. It's to help where things are falling through the cracks. Is because that's they get one boost of motivation, like and then the next day comes, and then the day after that, and then 3 days later they're totally off the bandwagon, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so it's like people need to get over that hump.
Yeah.
They need daily accountability until they get it to where it's a daily habit and they can carry it out themselves.
Is there levels to it? Like, is there like if you bought 6 months, or if you want to do like maybe not every day, like if you would do like, you kind of have to do every day, right?
Yeah. So I haven't thought about different. There's like if you want to buy multiple months at once, you get kind of a discount on it. Yeah, for sure.
Well, no, I was just thinking because like I have different levels in my program. People who pay more for more services. If like for example, my level 3 program, it's $10,000 to get 5 to 10 months of services on my other stuff. If I can do 5 to 10 months of services, also every single day having that accountability, I can kind of start doing, because I really want to do that. Like, I see that first I gotta get it myself, because I gotta see it myself, right? But I think it will be very valuable for.
That's a good idea. The way, the steps that I have is that one, you just get for $13 a month, you just get access to all my content that I put out, all my videos. I'll be putting out courses. So your monthly subscription is just every week you're getting content, you're getting a course delivered to you.
Okay.
And then from there, you need accountability. The accountability is the $650. That's the step up. So those are the
you're
two.
Getting a course every month?
Yeah.
Course?
Nice. I mean, not a full-on, it'll be just like a module. You'll get a module, and it'll come with like a workbook or worksheets, and a video.
Nice.
So a video and a worksheet delivered every month. So that'd be the monthly membership.
That was, you said $13?
Yeah. So I'm going mass market.
Yeah. That's good.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
So I'm delivering it anyway. Might as well just attract more people. And then once I got them in the funnel, then that's my opportunity.
You can even use the Facebook pixel to look at like audiences and do all
exactly.
Dude, that's exciting, dude.
So that's my new direction, man. By next year, I want to be completely out of commercial real estate and 100% doing goal accountability.
Well, right now, I mean, it's the opportunity. It's so easy to be found right now on social media. In 2 years, or in a year, maybe even half a year, you know how hard it is to be found. When you post, you notice that there's more people engaging more times you post.
Yeah.
Impressions, you can see more. It's just the opportunity we have.
Yeah.
Algorithms are changing. It's getting harder.
It totally is.
And pretty soon it's going to be like the people who have it.
Yeah. And the people who don't,
it's gonna be.
They lost.
You have to pay a lot of money to get up.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between going in right now on social media and all that stuff. So
that's what I'm going all in. I'm building the content and everything now.
Yeah.
Building the program. Okay. And then the next step is going to be I need to get myself out there as much as I can.
Yeah, that's pretty much attention's the new currency. That's pretty much what it is.
That's where you're going to come into play.
Yeah, dude. I actually just partnered up with.
I'm gonna get a Elixir, the cab, house cab.
I know.
You want anything?
Are you gonna stay here or?
I'm gonna have one drink and then I gotta roll. My wife, I thought she was staying, but she left, so I gotta go meet up with her.
I see. I'm probably gonna meet up with my girl too and go.
She at home waiting on you?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
And she was waiting on me all weekend, so.
Yeah.
I said I have to stop by and see.
Tell her, blame it on me.
I had to stop by. I know I partnered up with a lot of people.
Thank you so much.
I just partnered up with Jason Stone, and I probably told you about him before for mentorship.
I think I have. I heard
up with some of his marketing services because I used them, and I was like, ooh, this is gold right here. So the shout outs, he has multiple accounts. They have millions of followers, they have hundreds of thousands of followers. They're all in the entrepreneurial niche. And so he got packages for shout outs. So on my program now, every other week, you're gonna get a shout out on a big account for like 5 to 10 months. And so that's
great, bro.
Huge exposure.
That's great.
So I just keep adding the most valuable resources I can possibly find.
Add into it,
to the program because that's the whole goal.
That's it, man. And that's I totally, I'm basically gonna be turning my account over to you once I have an offer. Like up before, I didn't really have anything to offer. I was kind of I was putting the cart before the horse. Right. I was just trying to get exposure and putting out content and all this. And it's like, for what? Like, so what if I get all this exposure and thousands of people look at my video? I got nothing to offer them. Yeah. So it's like, okay, put the brakes on that. I need to create an offering. And so that's what I've been building.
Nice.
And so I'm building the offering, I'm building the course, I'm building the goal accountability platform. And once I have the offering, now I go live. Because now I got some place to funnel people to. Like before I was just trying to get looks and likes.
There's no problem with doing that. You get because like you said, you're gonna funnel people into, for example, the $15 thing. If it was free, what Gary Vee does, right? You're funneling people into your free content and you have all this attention that's coming at you. So when you finally release that offer, it's like, how can I not go with you? I love you. Like, you give me so much free stuff, right? And that's Gary Vee says that he doesn't put enough content out. He puts 100 pieces every day on all social media platforms.
Damn.
100 pieces.
That's crazy.
He's not using the whole opportunity.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not even close to that.
I'm not close to that either. I'm actually talking to some people to follow me around and record everything so I can create some killer content.
I need this dude. Why do you think I have my video guy?
Yeah.
That's essentially what he's doing, man.
But that's what it is, and I think in the future we're gonna have drones.
John, this is
Marco,
nice to meet you.
Marco's
This is Jonas.
Hey, that's Jonas.
Jarvis, this is Jonas.
What's up, Jonas? Good to meet you. Were you in there tonight?
I was very.
How'd you like it?
Hey, they changed my. They brought up my business. What I want to do. So I work with John, but it's not what I want to do. So, he's a new advisor. I brought him in, and I was like, hey, why don't you come to this thing? And he comes to me afterwards, and he goes, I had a breakthrough moment. I realized that what I'm doing, I don't want to do anymore. And I was like, good for you.
Nice. Dude, we need to get that testimony, man. Can we get you? Can you say that on? Can you mind walking with us?
That's why I wanted. Well, I'm gonna go talk to Robert real quick, but I wanted to at least introduce you to.
Yeah.
And then I gotta get something to eat real quick. I'm gonna be here for a little bit.
I'm gonna come back and talk to you.
Okay, good.
19, 25 now. And the restaurant has this idea for a non-profit type group. Okay. Played sports can be away from games. So I had this vision of starting a non-profit.
That's all you need. That's all you need to know for.
Hey, Rubina, did you give your testimony?
Something along the way.
I'm just glad that I was up here at 6:20.
And where does that come from? What you
That was was really good. My name's
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Palucci, I like that. I like that.
What's your name? Eric.
Jarvis.
Oh, Jarvis.
I'm Jarvis. How do you
This is Eric.
That's Eric. He's the digital content guy. Yeah, is it your first time?
It's my first time.
How'd you hear about it?
I was late. I thought, oh my gosh, Jarvis. I thought it was 7 to 9. Turns out I had another event at 7 to 9, so I totally missed that. But then I'm looking at my calendar. I'm like, what is this? 5:30? Oh my gosh! I was downstairs. I kid you not. My husband dropped me off at 5:15. I'm just, sitting there sipping my white wine. I'm like, what is this 5:30? And it's 6 o'clock. And I rushed up here.
Wow,
So I came
you
here
got
at
it.
6:20.
Well, you still got a good portion of it.
No, I did. I really
You still
did.
got a good portion of it, but
So is this your full-time gig?
No. This
what's
is
your
just
full-time
something.
gig?
I'm a commercial real estate. Well, I do, but I also do like goal accountability coaching. So I help people achieve their goals by doing morning calls and daily accountability calls. Kind of what I was talking about. So
That's what we need.
Yeah. People
For my
need
team.
people need their hands held. Like
For my team. And you
People need-
can't be, part of my team is my son. That's my husband. So my son, parent deaf, right? So, oh my God. So he's been parent deaf for so many years now, but slowly but surely he's getting accustomed to, because of the success of his dad. It's like, but we still need, so we have this 12-week program that we're on. So we crunch the 3 months into a 12-week. And then we have the inner circle boost program, that we're in.
okay.
So yeah,
So it's the same. Yeah. It's the
we
same.
still need,
A lot,
like
the problem with those is you check in. How often do you check in? Like how often do you guys
for the 12 week during the 12-week program. So that's how often we check in.
Once every 12 weeks, or how often in
No,
that 12
just
weeks?
every week.
Every week, so once a week.
So once a week.
So that's the thing that I've encountered, that people get all fired up and motivated and they get all this homework, and then the next day comes and they fall off the bandwagon.
Yeah.
And then the next day.
Yeah.
And then they get that one day a week, then they scramble, they get all fired up, and then they. So that's why I started daily accountability, because in order for something to become a habit, some people need help getting over the hump of the 30-day mark for it to become a habit. Like things you don't just inherently start moving in a direction. Like it has to be ingrained in you. It has to be built into your subconscious.
Exactly.
And that takes at least 30 days, 30 to 60 days. People need some sort of daily accountability with that time until it becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, they can take it and run with it. They don't need but at least for that first 30 days, they need a daily accountability. And that's what I do. I do daily accountability.
Let's sit down.
Yeah, let's.
Sit down over here. Give me your number. I'll text you.
The burpee master.
Mr. Tom.
The burpee master.
Burpee,
How did you meet Chad? Is Chad one of your speakers for your regular deal? Or no?
I met Chad because he came to one of my events, and then we had coffee, and then he told me his whole testimony, and I was like, dude, so he had kind of this breakthrough moment, and
Because we need speakers, that motivate us every once in a while, like Ed, Eric, Eric, I don't remember his last name. Oh my gosh, these motivational speakers.
Oh, Eric Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you?
It's Palucci. Yeah. So what's your number, Jarvis?
There you are, Palucci Franco?
Yes.
I'm just gonna send you what's your? I don't think I have your phone number.
No, it's 818, but I signed up. 818-468-5611. Yay!
So I'm gonna
and
send
then text
you.
me your email address. I want to invite you to my office. What's MH?
Morning Hero.
Ah, nice.
So I just sent you an email right now.
Okay,
You're gonna get an email for us to do coffee.
Wait, what's my
Calendly.
email address?
I tell you what, I got you to thank for it.
It's a lifesaver. It's a lifesaver.
Jarvis, Loverson.
That's me.
Perfect.
Let's do coffee.
Jarvis, Yes. wanted to
thank you again. Brandon, were you one of the ones that asked about the daily calls?
I like the calls. Yeah, I want to hear more about the calls.
Let's get together and get coffee. I can tell you the format and how it goes
Wait,
and everything.
you're having coffee with me, right?
Yeah, I'm having coffee with you too.
Hi, Brandon.
She.
How are you? Pleasure.
Good. Well, good.
How'd you enjoy it, Brandon?
Dude, Chad's my boy.
Oh yeah, yeah. What's your last name?
It's Burrow. B-U-R.
Oh yeah. I got you in here. B-U-R-H-R. I don't have your phone number though.
Oh, okay. 804-986-7242.
Got it. All right. So
I never experienced fear of success.
No. Have you ever had that?
What's that?
Fear of success. I have an excitement for success.
Yeah.
So
that's probably a learned trait, though, because when you have fear of success, there's like a self-worth conversation that's tied to it. Like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah, because there's a bridge.
And that's
I'll have to churn on that a little bit, because I think there is sort of a all right.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Thank you. This guy, the guy right here. I can't see his name. Yeah.
Bye, Brittany.
John. Yeah.
Jarvis, I just want to say thank you. Give me a couple minutes. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Continued success, man.
Yeah. Keep coming and keep adding and contributing and adding value.
Thank you.
It's a group effort.
Always.
That's what we're here for.
Pleasure meeting you, man.
Very nice to see you. Absolutely. Check out the website.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Take care.
Palucci, thank you for coming.
My husband and business partner,
Francis.
Jarvis.
Jarvis.
Jarvis did an awesome job putting this together.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Did you get it?
Would you have a template?
Wait, did you get it already?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So let's just get together and have coffee. I normally have coffee up here every day. Breakfast at the University Club.
I love it here, man. The only thing that irks me about this place is the parking. But because even if you're a member, you still pay for valet, right?
No. If you're a member, you don't. You get complimentary valet. There's a parking lot across the street. It's a private lot. It's not owned by the city. I park in there all the time. You park in there even if you get a ticket. Like, it's not tied to the city. It's not a real ticket.
Yeah.
Like, they make it look like a real ticket and everything to try to make you pay it, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
They literally can't do anything. So I always park in that parking lot. It's like a little secret. You just park in there and nothing ever happens.
Yeah, man, we'll definitely catch up. I'm excited to hear more about your story, and like, I know you're in real estate too.
Yeah,
right?
Commercial.
Yeah, I'm in residential, just like every other 22,000 other realtors in San Diego.
Yeah. it's a grind.
Yeah.
Trust me, commercial's a grind too. So
sure.
So I'm definitely sure we can share some stories and some pains and
bigger paychecks. Deals are further and far between, right?
Further apart. Ideally, they're bigger, but to be honest, like, housing prices in California are so high that they rival office building prices, right? So, I mean, you can be just as successful, if not even more successful, if you're in like the luxury real estate game in San Diego. So it's not always bigger deals, but the sales are definitely more complex, a lot longer sales cycles. So,
Would you mind taking our picture?
so that's why we get in it.
Dude, look what you're creating, man. I'm excited for you, man. This is awesome.
Hold up the picture.
Yeah.
We'll get our website.
I'm just glad to be a part of it, man. I'm glad to. I mean, it's my second time here, but this is great, man. It's great what you're doing.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're a part of the community now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, also, I think Chad talked to you a little bit about it, but I have a workshop that I could put on here.
Oh no, he didn't tell me about yours.
Yeah, so my specialty, I'm actually a connection coach, so my specialty is connection. I coach people on how to show up as the most connected version of themselves in order to create everything they want.
All right,
all about relationships.
So we got to get together and talk about that, because I would love to have a workshop about connection. That's a great topic, and it's so powerful. It's so powerful.
Sure.
And especially in this day and age where we're becoming less and less connected.
I know. It's funny because social media was created
designed for connection, and it's creating it's causing a disconnection. Yeah. So, dude, I would love. Let's get together for coffee next week. Get on the calendar and click on it as fast as you can, and let's get a slot.
Okay.
Because I want to get you there. I want to get you in sooner than later.
Cool. Let's do it. I'm excited, man, and I'm gonna try to come down for the Wednesday and do all the things, man. We'll see me around. We'll see me around.
All right,
brother. We'll connect.
Thank you. See you, Brandon.
I need media to get out there.
How do you think it went? It was, wasn't it? Well, am I? How did I do?
I loved it. I loved it.
I mean,
About live video, you nailed it.
it didn't, it failed in comparison to yours. Like I felt.
Because I remembered from our thing that we had post.
Oh, I gotta do the intro. Yeah, let's just do it.
All right, let's do it over here though. I gotta move.
They're telling you to move.
No, that light's dead.
Oh, okay.
It's not blinking. Yeah. So. Oh, and let me get that recording audio thing from you.
Oh, has it been live this whole time?
Yes.
You're gonna get me talking a bunch of crap about you. Disregard everything you hear on here.
I'll just delete after.
Here's Mike.